Hey, what's up? It's your girl Dina from Dinas.tv. I am a fitness trainer and lifestyle coach. I've not only transformed my body, but I've transformed many people through my online coaching and through my boot camps. I'm going to be sharing tools with you that are going to transform your body and transform your life. Now is the time that you live the life that you love and love the life that you live. The time is now to make changes. The time is now to grow. So I had a woman ask me the other day that joined my Facebook private group about hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. I will be explaining exactly what the thyroid gland is, its functions, and I will also be going in depth about hypothyroidism and things that you can change in your lifestyle and diet that can help fix it. Now, there are so many people that are walking around with a thyroid problem, but it's secondary to something else. People who take medication don't really feel any better, and they still find it hard to lose weight. So what we want to do is really find out what's the underlying problem instead of just trying to diagnose the symptoms. Now, there's no way I'm diagnosing you and telling you your own condition. I'm not a doctor, but I just want to explain what's associated with hypothyroidism and share some information with you so that you know what to ask your doctor and you know what steps you can take to evaluate your lifestyle and your diet so that you don't just end up feeding the symptom with medication and think that's just the only solution. Our population is suffering from so many different diseases like diabetes, osteoporosis, dementia, Alzheimer's, but these diseases actually don't really exist. They are just high prolonged oxidative stress, high prolonged cortisol, high prolonged inflammation. You see most traditionally conventional oriented doctors prescribing medications to all different types of symptoms someone is having instead of going to the core of the issue and helping that person with their diet and their lifestyle that caused these symptoms to happen in the first place. And that's why I really want you to be more aware of first, so that you can see how important your diet and lifestyle affects your body by creating or healing itself from disease. Let me give you one example. The top-selling $7.2 billion drug right now is the statin drug that lowers cholesterol. Now let's take a look at what cholesterol does. Cholesterol is the precursor to almost everything. This means your body's ability to protect itself from cancer is cholesterol. Your body's ability to adapt to stress is cholesterol. Your body's ability to adapt to oxidative stress is cholesterol. Your body's ability to fight systemic inflammation is cholesterol. And when someone goes to the doctor and finds out they have high cholesterol, what does the doctor do? The doctor will prescribe the medication, and they will end up taking other different medications in the future because the medication they took is not really solving the problem. It's making their case even worse. So what we need to do instead is look at the lifestyle and seeing what's causing this oxidative stress, inflammation, or tissue damage that's making the body to create more cholesterol. So this means that there is some kind of increase in metabolic responses that the body's experiencing. And the solution isn't by taking a drug. What we want to look at is what we can do to the body that can help the body repair its tissues, that can help the body with the inflammatory processes, and to help eliminate these free radicals. Now, let's get into what the thyroid is and what it does. The thyroid is a small gland that's located behind and below in the neck. It's our master gland for our metabolism and our energy. So in our brain, we have something that's called the hypothalamus that sends signals to the pituitary that's also in our brain, and it tells it to release or inhibit hormone production to our thyroid. Okay? So it tells that the pituitary to shoot out a hormone that's called thyroid stimulating hormone, which we call TSH in short. And it tells the thyroid to produce what is called the T3 and T4. T3 is known as a triodoethionine, which has 3 molecules of iodine. That's why it's called T3. And T4 is called thyroxine, which has 4 molecules of iodine. And in order to make these hormones, you need iodine and zinc. So these are very important trace minerals that our body needs in order for the thyroid to function properly. T4 is an inactive thyroid hormone, which means that it's only activated when it goes through our liver. And when it goes to our liver, it becomes T3. Our liver has certain enzymes, and those enzymes strip off one of those iodine molecules to make it T3. And in order to make this conversion, we need selenium. 80% of your thyroid function occurs through your liver. So without your liver, you cannot convert and make your thyroid work. Now, this T4 binds to a carrying protein, which is called thyroid binding globulin, and it carries it to the cell, to the liver, and to the organ system. And they basically deliver oxygen and energy to every cell, tissue, and organ in your body. Now, when this thyroid stimulating hormone, which I mentioned earlier, we call the TSH, is high, that means the function of the thyroid is low. And that's what we call the hypothyroidism. So you can see how these hormones control all the processes in your metabolism by which oxygen and calories are converted to energy that goes to your cells so that you can function properly. But what else do these hormones do to the body? They help your body process carbohydrates. They help your muscles function properly, helps your breathing, your nervous system. It helps your immune system to fight off bacteria and viruses. It helps with proper sexual development and functioning, your heart function, your digestive system. It also helps strengthen your hair, your nails and skin. It helps with your bones and your brain function. So you can see how important it is to make sure that our thyroid functions properly so our metabolism can function properly. It affects almost everything in the body. Now, there are a number of different reasons that can go wrong with your underactive hypothyroidism. Let's take a look at what could be some of the causes, okay? Like I mentioned earlier, most doctors will just prescribe medications, but a real doctor will take a look at all the other hormones. They will also check for your food intolerances, for inflammation. They will check your gut because it's all a kinetic chain, and the underlying cause is coming from somewhere. For an example, your cortisol is a stress hormone that decreases the TSH coming from the pituitary. So this could be coming from a very stressful environment. Excess estrogen can also be a reason. That's why you see many times females after they give birth, they develop a thyroid condition because of the spike of estrogen. So estrogen dominance blocks the thyroid because estrogen competes with the thyroid's receptors, so it blocks the receptors. You also see so many women nowadays and even teenagers taking birth control pills, which are literally like taking an estrogen pill. Estrogen is produced in the ovaries, adrenals, and fat cells. So fat can actually be a hormone-producing organ. So if you're on a very high-calorie diet with poor quality foods, it's going to affect it. If your liver is damaged, chances are that could be a source of your thyroid problem. Also, having constipation ends up backing up the liver, which could be a reason. If you have a sluggish gallbladder or no gallbladder, that could also be the problem because that means that you cannot convert these hormones correctly. Not having enough bile production, taking medication, nutritional deficiencies, which I will explain towards the end, what kind of nutritional deficiencies one could be having. So now let's take a look at what some of the symptoms are, because some people aren't aware that they're dealing with this. So I want to just give a couple of examples so that if someone feels like they can totally relate to these symptoms, then I highly suggest that they go check with their physician. Now, no matter what, at the end of the day, you have to get tested by your physician to check your hormones and see if there's any imbalance. You cannot really determine if you are dealing with any hormonal imbalance just by knowing these symptoms that I'm about to mention. Now, one of the most obvious symptoms is your energy levels, or you feel fatigued all the time, constipation, very dry skin, your hair falling out, cold feet, muscle and joint pain, swelling in the face, arms and legs could be another reason. Low sex drive in both men and women. If you're dealing with depression, then your thyroid is definitely something that should be tested to make sure you're not dealing with a low functioning thyroid. If you are gaining weight despite the amount of exercise that you do, that can be another reason. So you can see there are many different reasons why someone could be dealing with thyroid problems. It's all a kinetic chain. Your body is reacting to the different stresses that it's going through. So we need to look further in the stress that's being created, physical, chemical, or emotional stress. Your body responds the exact same way to all three. If it's stress or toxins from food or medications, your body responds the same way. So all of this could be related to stress. We all know all of the diseases like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, strokes are all related to stress. So if we take chemical drugs that helps with stress, it doesn't actually help us. It's just damaging our body even more because medication also causes stress. So now let's take a look at what causes oxidative stress in the body. Chemicals that are in some products that we use that are around us. So we want to try using more natural products so we can eliminate any of this as much as possible that could be affecting the thyroid. Especially one herbicide, it's actually an herbicide, it's a weed killer. It's called glyphosate, okay? You can find this in products like Roundup Ready Spray. It's found in high fructose corn syrup, beet sugar. It's in all of the soy products. It's also fed to animals. So you need to be aware of that so that you choose organic products and grass-fed animals. This herbicide glyphosate, what it does, it blocks your thyroid directly, and it actually acts like an estrogen. So it messes up with your liver. It's like a toxin that blocks the detoxification in your liver, which triggers autoimmunity like Hashimoto's. Now, when it comes to your diet, you want to make sure that you're not on a low-calorie diet. You don't want to be on a very high-calorie diet, and you don't want to be on a very low-calorie diet. Because if you are, that means you're not getting enough nutrition. And usually, most of these cases are due because of a nutritional deficiency. So we want to make sure that we're getting a healthy, nutritional, rich base diet throughout the day. And when you're on a low calorie, you are also slowing down your metabolism. And this will affect your thyroid much more. And I know some people are trying to lose weight and they keep eating less and less because it's hard for them to lose weight on thyroid. This is just going to damage your thyroid even more. Instead, try to get the healthy foods that will help boost those deficiencies that you have. Now, what we really, really, really need to avoid is prepackaged foods. They contain so many soy protein isolates. They're very low quality proteins, and these interfere with your thyroid and your liver, and it just ends up increasing the estrogens in your body. So we want to avoid soy at all cost. All things that cause inflammation in the gut, like grains and sugars, fast foods and alcohol, try to cut them completely out of your diet. Okay, we want to bring you back to your best of health. And when you are at your best of health, you will start to lose weight and you will start to feel amazing. Now, when you have a leaky gut, which most people have a leaky gut nowadays, it is basically like holes that are in your intestines and they become larger, and particles like gluten can get through. So when you see anyone that's dealing with hypothyroid or Hashimoto's, once you cut gluten out, you see a huge change. You start to see immediate results. So try to make sure even seasonings or anything that you put inside your food, try to make sure that it's gluten-free. There are a lot of hormones nowadays in meats and plastic containers. So if you can, and you instead of drinking out of a plastic water bottle, take those glass water bottles or those steel ones and filling up your water, your coffee, whatever that you drink throughout your day, and put it in there instead. And try to make sure that you know whether you're getting your meat from, and making sure that they're not injected with hormones. Now, if you're going to get a chicken breast, they're usually not really big if you look at the chicken. The chicken breasts are small. So when you find a chicken breast that is really huge, then obviously they're injecting it with something that's making it bigger so that they can sell it and make more money and stuff. So we want to avoid very big chickens. We want to make sure that the beef is grass-fed, that the salmon that you eat is wild caught and it's not farmed. If you are exposed to fluoride, bromine, and chloride, the thyroid isn't going to work right because it will cause liver toxicity. Fluoride, pesticides, toxic foods, medication, stress, trauma, vaccinations, All of these things, they cause inflammation and they raise cortisol and raise oxidative stress in the body. So we want to try to avoid all of that, okay? High fructose corn syrup raises estrogen, and it is the number one source of calories in America. And it's genetically modified, which causes many of the serious diseases like heart disease, leaky gut syndrome, diabetes, and high blood pressure. So we know the thyroid is trying to always calibrate our system on a daily basis, calibrating how much digestion should happen, how much energy should be produced, how much fat should be produced, how much muscle should be built. So it's trying to calibrate your physical structure. And your physical structure is very closely related to your psychological structure. Whatever you think about will have an effect on your glandular function. So that just shows how powerful your body is just by a single thought. All of your emotions have an impact on your glands. So you see how fine our system is and how it's affected by everything we do, everything we think, everything we eat, our environment around us. All of these have an impact on our health, and everything in our system is connected to each other. One thing will affect the other. So try to eliminate stress. Try to relax and meditate. Go out and have a daily walk in the morning before you start your day and just immediately wake up with a stressful routine or rush to work. Try to be around nature and be in the sun and do yoga. Just try to relax that mind. Exercise so that you can release that stress. Now let's start off with the foods that we need to eat, okay? I know it's hard to find food nowadays that are not chemically infested or genetically modified. It's come to that place that even organic foods are sprayed with organic chemicals. And I know it's very difficult to eat something fresh straight from a tree. And I don't want to scare you and make you think that you can't eat anything, but imagine how bad our diet has become. And imagine how these products with all these artificial sweeteners and preservatives and chemicals are doing to our body. All these harmful chemicals and hormones and everything that they're putting in the foods, this is what's creating these inflammations and diseases within our gut. So I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, you could have chips in moderation every day. You can have a little dessert after your meal every day. This is what's causing disease. So right now, we want to try to get as healthy as possible. It's not about moderation. Later in the future, having dessert here and there, I don't want to say, oh, you can't have any of that. Of course you can. But having it in moderation in your daily routine, I don't suggest that at all. Because that's what's making people sick. That's what's making people addicted. That's what's creating this habit where the person feels like they need it in their routine every day. Sugar is an addiction. These chemicals and preservatives are an addiction. And that's why they put it in our food, so we can become addicted. They're even giving it to suggesting it for our children in cereals, making our children addicted to these packaged foods where their taste buds have been damaged throughout the years, that they can't even appreciate a fruit, that even a fruit doesn't taste sweet anymore. Okay, so we want to change those taste buds. We want to get back to our health and actually enjoy the natural foods. So what are the things that we want in our diet, okay? We want foods that contain high amounts of antioxidants. We want to detoxify. And we want to get them from fruits like pomegranate, blueberries, and cranberries that are not very high in sugar, but very high in antioxidants. We want cruciferous vegetables. They also help detoxify the liver. And we want to combine it with sea kelp and more iodine from natural sources. We want to get selenium because selenium is also very important for the detoxification in the liver. Bone broth will help with your amino acids because people that are dealing with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's are very deficient in their proteins like proline, glycine, and glutamine. We want wild-caught salmon. It's very high in protein, very high in healthy fats, and it's loaded with antioxidants and omega-3s. Fish broth is also an excellent source because it contains a great amount of iodine, and iodine is the key nutrient for thyroid. You can season your vegetables, your fish and meats with spices and herbs that detoxify the liver as well, like turmeric and coriander. Those really help to get rid of those heavy metals that are in the body. And if you don't like fish, You can try making it in different ways before judging it too soon, because I know how some people don't like the smell of the fish. But if you haven't tried making like a salmon burger or a patty that's cooked with eggs or chopped with vegetables and nice seasonings, you can even chop it up really small and mix it up in your salad so you get a variety of different flavors that you're eating with the fish. So if you dislike fish, try different ways because it's really healthy to incorporate it in your diet. Seaweeds and different types of algae like kelp, spirulina, and chlorella. You can make bone broth and actually add these in there with your cruciferous veggies and make a soup. I love having soup at night because I feel like it's light, and I just drink the water so that you can hydrate your body and make sure that you're getting enough liquid in as well. So that's a really good way to just add all of that in there at once. What's really important to get in that helps with both autoimmune disease and thyroid is foods that are high in thiamine and B vitamins like grass-fed beef and eggs. Thyroiditis and hypothyroid is often correlated with stress and depression. So you want to get in foods that contain like phospholipids. They are brain boosting, and you can find these in like eggs, caviar. They are also loaded with iodine. Adaptogens are unique herbs that have the ability to help the body to adapt and deal with stress. So these are really good for people that are either have high cortisol or even low cortisol, because what it does, it helps bring your body back to balance. So some of these herbs are known as ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is known as an Indian ginseng. You can get holy basil, Arctic root, and rhodiola rosea is another one. Now, when it comes to supplements, you definitely want to check with your doctor, and you want to see what your body needs. You want to find out what is your body deficient in, and then replacing those specific deficiencies with the supplements that will work best for your thyroid metabolism and function. Now, there are at least 13 different nutrients required for thyroid production, thyroid conversion, and cellular receptor sensitivity. So that means there are 13 different steps in your body that you could be deficient in, which reduces the amount that your thyroid actually functions. So I'm not going to break down all of them, but I'm just going to list them for you so you just have an idea. You have zinc, selenium, tyrosine, iodine, vitamin B2, vitamin E, vitamin B3, vitamin B6, vitamin D, vitamin C. And the thing is, nowadays you see a lot of these supplement providers just jam-pack all of these in a tablet and they call it the thyroid booster. But it's not about taking all of the supplements. It's about finding out what your body needs so that you can create that balance and finding out exactly how much you need of them. Now, if you already got tested, or if you're about to get tested, you want to make sure the type of test that you did, because a lot of doctors, they just do conventional testings, okay? So here are the tests that you should ask your doctor if you did them and make sure that you did, is checking for TSH, free T3, and free T4. TPO and anti-thyroid globulin antibodies. Check for food intolerances for inflammation. Check if you have celiac disease with celiac panel. Check for metal toxicity. Check for all the vitamin levels. Now, in order to really fix this problem, you really need to find out what your body needs and to create that balance and to make sure that you're getting the right nutrition. You're getting that iodine, zinc, the omega-3s, the selenium from your food. Your food is what's going to heal your body and create that balance. Anything where you're really deficient in, you got to make sure what are those supplements that you need, because the most important thing right now is to create that balance, to release that stress, to make sure you're getting the nutrition. You're not way too above your calories. You're not way too low on your calories. You're exercising and you're removing all of these packaged foods, processed foods, all these sugar foods, fast foods, all of these foods that are creating this oxidative stress that's creating all of this inflammation in the body. You can do it. You can heal your body. You just got to take action and say, all right, I'm going to take it serious now, and I'm going to do what I got to do to bring my body to my best health. I hope you enjoyed my podcast. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message or leave me a comment below. If you want to check out my workout routines, you can find me on all social media platforms at Dina's TV, or you can go straight to my website at dinas.tv. I also created a private Facebook group where I will be uploading videos, and I will also be live streaming so that we can engage with each other and you can ask me questions. All you have to do is type in Transform Your Body and Transform Your Life to find it on Facebook. Make sure to subscribe, and if you found this podcast to be helpful, please leave me a review. It helps the podcast to reach more people. I also check each and everyone's comment. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next episode, stay strong, stay healthy, and always stay happy.